Hello fellow stackers, 365 here, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're going to be discussing one of your comments. Now the comment we're going to be talking about today is from Heaven4144 and they said, may I ask how you came about making the name 365 as what you use on YouTube? I feel it's a very cool name. Now I've actually had a number of people ask me in the past where I came up with the name 365 Days of Silver. So in today's video we're going to discuss the reasons why I decided to use this as my channel's name. Before we go any further though, I'm going to crack myself a nice can of San Miguel. Now I've actually quit drinking whiskey and I've decided that beer is going to be the drink of the channel going forward. That's obviously a joke. I've run out of whiskey and I had some beers in the fridge, so that's the reason why we have a nice cold San Miguel in today's video. Now, I am actually a beer drinker as well as whiskey. My drink of choice is probably a whiskey, but I do quite often drink pints if I'm in the pub or out with friends or anything like that. I'm probably more accustomed to a pint of beer if I'm out and about, and it's more whiskey if I'm at home, or if it's at the end of the night and I've had enough beers, and then I might switch over to a couple of whiskies at the end of the night. So yeah, mixing it up a little bit in today's video. It's got to be from the fridge. Let me know how you drink your beers. I know some people like them room temperature. My dad likes a beer, and he can never drink a beer if he comes around my house and it's straight from the fridge. He has to let it warm up a little bit to room temperature. He's been one of these people that much more prefers a beer straight from the cupboard as opposed from the fridge. So do let me know your preference in the comment section. But back to the topic of today's video. Now, 365 Days of Silver was actually the name I gave to this channel because when I was trying to work out in my head what a nice amount of ounces would be to stack, I was looking at different videos on YouTube and I was reading lots of books and things like that, and lots of people recommend different amounts. Some people say just 100 ounces is enough to have in your portfolio of precious metals. Some people say 500 ounces, some people say 1,000 ounces, some people say there's no limit, just keep dollar cost averaging or pound cost averaging into precious metals. But me personally, I wanted to come up with a figure that I thought would be a good amount to invest in silver. And that figure was 365 ounces. And how I got to that amount was I looked at silver stacking when I first started investing in silver as a way of diversifying my portfolio and also as a way of saving money. Now, I've touched upon this topic in many videos before, and I'm not very good at letting money build up in my bank. If I have a certain amount of cash build up in my bank, I'm always looking to see what I can spend it on, whether it's a takeaway or a new gadget or a new jacket or some new shoes or whatever it may be. I'm not very good at actually letting money build up in my bank. So when I first started stacking silver, not only was it a way of diversifying my portfolio, it was also a way of me spending without actually spending. And we've touched upon this in many videos in the past, and that's one of the great things about stacking precious metals. You kind of get it out your system of spending cash, but then you're actually transferring it into an asset. So you still get the satisfaction of buying something and it coming through the door and you unpackaging it and getting that warm feeling of when you spend money. But at the same time, you're not actually spending because you're just converting it into an asset. And you don't get the same feeling when you buy a stock or a share or some crypto or something that's digital. You don't get the same sense of satisfaction. It doesn't really feel like you're actually buying something because it's just numbers on a screen. Whereas when you buy precious metals, you actually get a physical item arrive through the door, and it really does quench your thirst for spending. So that was another reason why I really like the idea of stacking precious metals at the beginning, and it's still another reason why I really like stacking it still to this day. And when I was thinking about a target of ounces to get to, the number that came to mind was 365 ounces. And that is because there's obviously 365 days in a year. And I thought to myself, if I was to lose my job, because before I started really heavily investing in precious metals and my buy-to-lets and all the other kind of side things I have going on, I only had my one income. And I kind of thought to myself, if I ever lost my job due to health reasons or the company letting me go because they go bankrupt or whatever it may be, I thought to myself, if I have 365 ounces of silver, and say 5 years down the line, now this is all speculation obviously, and I'm not a financial advisor, so this is just purely my thoughts and opinions, but let's say for example 5 years down the line silver goes up to 40 or 50 pounds an ounce. Now my thought process was, if I have 365 ounces of silver and I lose my job and I haven't got any money to survive on, if I was to sell 1 ounce of silver every single day, that would give me 40 or 50 pounds to buy food, to put towards bills, to buy clothes, or whatever it may be. So I thought that was a really nice way of coming up with a number of ounces that you should stack. So that is really how the channel name was built. And at the time of when I first came up with the idea for the channel name, I actually had around about 363 ounces or something like that. It was just under 365 ounces. So it all kind of fell in place really, because like I said, in my head, I thought to myself, I want to get to 365 ounces of silver. I looked at my spreadsheet that lists all of my precious metal holding, and I was just under 365 ounces of silver. So I thought to myself, if I buy a couple more ounces and I call my channel 365 Days of Silver, then that is a really nice way of explaining how I came to the channel name in the future. So let me know what you think about that. Let me know what you think is the perfect amount of ounces to stack. Do you believe that you should just continue to stack with any spare cash that you have? Or do you have a kind of target in mind? Now, obviously, I'm way over 365 ounces of silver now. And that is because not only has this evolved into more than just an investment, it's turned into a hobby. But also, I really love, like I said, spending my cash and converting it into an asset. So I've become a bit addicted to it. And it got to a stage where, and I've touched upon this in other videos as well, where I set myself targets. And I was saying, right, we'll get to 200 ounces, or we'll get to 300 ounces, then 400, then 500, then 1,000. And I just kept going. Now it's got to a stage where I haven't really got an actual target in ounces. I'll just continue over the course of my lifetime adding precious metals to my stack. And I will kind of have a break here and there. I won't be buying every single month or every single year even. Sometimes I might have a whole year where I'm purely focusing on different investments, and where in my head I think that silver might be a bit overvalued, or I'll have a little break because I think the S&P 500 or a particular stock is undervalued and I might want to put some more money into that. But I do think for the rest of my life, I will continue to add precious metals to my portfolio, because like I said, it's not just an investment for me now, it's become a hobby. So I hope that explains where 365 Days of Silver came from. And I do still believe that if you have to kind of get a target in your head, if you're first starting stacking and you're trying to think of a good number of ounces to get, then maybe 365 ounces of silver is a good target. Because like I said, if you was to lose your job, you get yourself a whole year of cash essentially, just from gradually selling your stack. If you, like I said, if you have 365 ounces of silver, essentially every single day you can convert 1 ounce of silver into cash, and you can use that money to live on until you get yourself another job, or your health improves, or whatever it is that's stopping you from being able to work. So do let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. Do you have a target of ounces that you want to reach, or are you kind of on the same mindset that I have now, where you're just going to slowly add to your stack over time and there's not any real target that you want to reach? So yeah, like I said, I hope that explains the channel name. I hope you enjoyed this video. Just going to have a quick sip of my beer. Also, I'll be interested to hear in the comment section if you had any ideas where I came up with the name 365 Days of Silver. If you just thought I named it 365 Days of Silver because you should be thinking about or stacking silver every single day of the year. I had a number of people when I had my break on YouTube saying, you can no longer call your channel 365 Days of Silver anymore. You have to call it 361 Days of Silver, or 358, or whatever it was the days I had off of the channel. And that made me laugh, because it made me really realise that I haven't actually explained where the channel name came from in the first place. So like I said, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for all the support. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you have a very nice day.